Max Verstappen produced a faultless charge claim victory in a chaotic Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix as Lando Norris beat McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri to second. Verstappen, starting from second, past pole sitter Piastri with an audacious move around the outside of the first chicane on the opening lap before expertly controlling the race from then on out. The Red Bull driver was cruising to victory before a late safety car closed the pack for a final 10 laps for him, which saw Norris having fresher tyres overtaking Piastri. Piastri had dropped out of contention for victory after McLaren's decision to bring him in for an early pit stop backfired and put him into traffic, while Verstappen and Norris are able to extend their opening stints. The result sees Piastri's Drivers' Championship lead over Norris reduced to 13 points, while Verstappen closes to within 22 points, the Australian in third. McLaren extend their lead to the top of the constructors to 132 points, but Verstappen said the start itself wasn't particularly great, but I was still on the outside line, normal line, so I was like, well, I'm going to send it and see if it works. And of course, that unleashed our pace, because when we were in the lead, the car was good, I could look after the tyres. Lewis Hamilton produced a superb recovery drive from 12th on the grid to take 4th in his first race in Italy for Ferrari. The 7-time world champion benefited from both the safety car and the VSC that preceded it, making it possible for him to pass several drivers. Alex Albon 5th was excellent, and he got past Charles Leclerc on the last lap. George Russell was another to lose out on strategy as he finished 7th after a disappointing afternoon Mercedes, compounded by Anthony being forced to retire with a throttle issue. Sainz was 8th to help Williams consolidate 5th in the constructors. Hadjar continued his impressive form, as did Yuki Tsunoda, getting a point from the pit lane. Verstappen, though, claimed pole... claimed second, and Piastri appeared to be in complete control and got a far better way than Verstappen to pull clear. However, the Australian seemed overly focused on covering off Russell, who was running behind him on the inside, and that just left the gap for Verstappen. And as you know, the Dutchman didn't need a second invitation, and later Brett Piastri says around the outside, early himself the exit on the chicane. He quickly pulled out the DRS range and pulled clear by almost 3 seconds when McLaren decided to pit Piastri on lap 13. This was a reaction to what was going on behind, with Leclerc stopping on lap 10 and already theoretically having undercut Norris, who had lost battling his way past Russell in the early stages. Piastri's stop brought him out in front of Leclerc and the other early stoppers, but in a load of traffic behind many of those who hadn't yet pitted. Meanwhile, little was gained from stopping at that point. Verstappen, Norris and the others who were staying out found their tyres had come back to a better operating window and extended the stint to the point where we were able to switch to a one-stop strategy. The gap between Verstappen and Norris at the front had been holding around 10 seconds, but it doubled when Aletta pitted for the VSC when Esteban Ocon stopped on track. Piastri, having worked his way back up to third before the VSC, took the opportunity to make his second stop, given a large loss. The Australian, who was seeking a fourth successive victory, easily passed Albon to get into the top 3, but the gaps were too big and the order finished that. However, Antonelli's throttle issue meant Verstappen and Norris both pitted while Piastri stayed out. The Mercedes took a while to clear before a restart at the end of lap 53, leaving a 10-lap contest to the finish. Norris began to use his significantly newer tyres to pressure Piastri and got through at the first chicane, and the pair nearly made contact. By that point, Verstappen moved one clear. And claimed Red Bull's victory in their 400th Grand Prix, just 6 seconds clear of Norris. Piastri said, I just broke too early. It was a good move by Max as well. Disappointing, obviously, but we made a few calls anyway. Not our best Sunday, so we'll definitely learn a lot on review, but well done to Max, and they had the pace. So the remaining drama came behind as Hamilton closed off Leclerc and Albon to get the win, with Leclerc sending Albon into the gravel, and the stewards making him give that place back to claim an impressive 5th for the Williams team. And before I go, let me run you through the classification from the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It was Max Verstappen in P1. Incredible driver, and that move was incredible, but Red Bull seems to have really strong pace as well, so they'll be absolutely delighted with that. McLaren in second and third, feel sorry for Piastri. Everything that could have gone wrong for him kind of did go wrong for him, one of those days, still solid points for him. Norris in second, I think good recovery drive, just didn't really have the pace to challenge Max. Hamilton in fourth, I think I'll be delighted with that, a brilliant recovery drive, obviously got slightly lucky, but I think good drive from him. Albon fifth will be really pleased. I think he'll feel that even more could have been possible though. Leclerc sixth, I think probably disappointed, strategy kind of went against him, but it's still a solid drive. Russell seventh, the Mercedes just didn't really have the pace. Him and Anthony dropping back in hot conditions, that's kind of where they struggle. Sainz got unlucky again, otherwise I think could have been up there with Albon. Hadjar will be delighted to get points. He's doing a really impressive job. I think Tsunoda will take that from the position where he was in at the start of the race. Alonso 11th will be so frustrated though. Did do a really good job in qualifying, and then just got unlucky again, as he said over the radio. Hulkenberg 12th, I think he was in the points at one stage, so I think good drive from him, but unfortunately not enough in that kick Sauber. Gasly made that mistake at the beginning, so I think he'll be frustrated to miss out on points. Lawson away off his teammate again, as was Stroll, and then Colapinto had a kind of a trouble-free race, but Alpine just not having much pace, and then Behrman and Borstetter. I think Borstetter dropped back a bit, and for Behrman a question of what is hugely disappointing for Antonelli in his home race, and Ocon, yeah, kind of just struggled all weekend, even without that mechanical issue. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily F1 news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.